Deadlock Esports are back. Hey everyone, this is Connor here at Dead Unlocked, and I wanted to quickly today talk about some recent esports updates in the Deadlock gaming space, Deadlock Esports space. One of which is the exciting announcement that Deadlock Night Shift will be starting up. This is the replacement for Deadlock Fight Night that has been now in hiatus for about 6-7 weeks. It is now back, the rebrand is complete, and we have the first bit of information about when we are going to be getting games. Super excited to have this product back. We've made a video about it on the channel already, but I'll quickly cover kind of what's going on with this situation, and then we'll get to some other exciting esports stuff as well. So the post here on X, it's time to clock in for your first shift of the Deadlock Night Shift. Love the name, by the way. Branding's really clean, and I kind of expected that for this group. Kicking off on the 13th of August with the best of 3 from each region. Time to crown our first champions. Abraham's Hydra Nation will maintain their status for Shift 1 as previous champions, so they really are just kind of continuing this, considering this kind of a continuation of Deadlock Fight Night. Make sure you tune in at 10 p.m. CEST, 4 p.m. Eastern as we kick off our first shift. And then you got the same format before, where you have the challenger teams that play a best of 1, and then it looks like it'll be a best of 3 for the championship. It's not said explicitly in this post, but I assume that's going to be the case, right? And for those that don't know, this is all of the same crew from the previous Deadlock Fight Night. So if you really enjoyed that product, this should feel very similar. To my understanding, I don't have any secret sauce on this or anything, but I'm assuming at least it was probably a dispute with the sponsor, as this is not brought to you by Intel. And again, I think the whole team kind of had the same passion moving forward, and so they just kind of wanted to keep doing what they were doing, and so they created Deadlock Night Shift. So you can follow them. I'll link all their socials and stuff, but they've got a YouTube channel, Twitch, all the same ways you would have engaged with Fight Night, you can engage with Night Shift. So this is really great. I think this will be really important for Deadlock. Honestly, for me, Deadlock Fight Night was a lot of the way that I kind of got my metric and kind of my understanding of what's good in the meta. It was a really consistent way to watch team-based pro play in this game, which not having, honestly, I've definitely felt a void in my ability to a degree, understand the meta, and just honestly, and just yearning and wanting to watch high-level Deadlock play. So very excited to have this back in the weekly format that it was in previously. The second piece of this kind of esports roundup I want to talk about is Deadlock Deathmatch. So we haven't talked about that a ton yet on this channel, but this is a new Deadlock Esports circuit being started up by Dead Air, which is run by Jackie and Blank. It's a great Deadlock podcast. Recommend y'all check it out. They make great content over there, and they are doing a slightly different format than Deadlock Fight Night. So this is going to be you have 32 teams, which obviously the announcement here coming yesterday, or today actually, is that signups are full. So this is awesome. We have a 32 team bracket set up for Deadlock Deathmatch. This will inevitably whittle down to a few of the top teams competing in this. So we've got a 32 team bracket right now. I think this will be like a Swiss stage. They end up playing down to a much kind of tighter grouping of players. Not sure yet on details for when we're going to get streams or when we're going to get any of these games aired, but I will obviously update you all on this channel whenever I get more information on that. But this will be a really cool, it's important to have diversity in the esports space, especially for a game like this early on. We want to see how different formats play out. We want to see how teams do in different formats. I don't know if the draft is going to be similar or not, so a lot of question marks still for how this is actually going to look, but at the very least, it looks like it's going to be a high-quality product. The people behind it have great esports experience, so as someone who is is rooting for these kind of things to work, I have a lot of confidence that this one will, so definitely be sure to check that out. Otherwise, kind of third part of this Deadlock Esports roundup would be that there was recently a LAN for Deadlock, which is kind of crazy to consider, obviously considering the state of the game. Deathy covered this on his channel, and as well as another channel I'd recommend y'all check out is Ansonex. He covered as well, actually, with an interview with Deathy. So there's a lot of cool, kind of community stuff behind the story of this. Essentially, this was going to be a LAN that was probably going to go awry, as you can kind of see from the thumbnail here. And it was cool to see Deathy, the community, and a lot of people kind of come together to make that happen. So I recommend y'all check that out. It's obviously that is wrapped up now. I don't know a ton of how it actually ended up playing out, but cool to see that was taken care of, and that we've had a Deadlock LAN. Actually kind of crazy to think about that that's the case. But otherwise, right now, I think that's going to do it for kind of what's happening in Deadlock. Deathy's Death Slam, obviously Deadlock Night Shift coming back, Deadlock Deathmatch, a LAN in Toronto. We've had a lot of cool stuff happening, and this all is obviously culminating at the same time that we're probably about to get a major update. So at the end of the day, it's just really cool to see that this community is already invested in this game's esports scene even when there's so much we don't know about the game. So honestly, hats off to the community for putting on all these events. I've always said this won't necessarily be the scope of this channel, but I do always want to shine a light on what's happening in terms of the esports scene in Deadlock because it's awesome. And everyone who's doing it right now is doing it to some degree out of passion, which is always really, really cool to see. And it's cool to say you were here when we could be here all together for the first shift of Deadlock Night Shift. That's probably, when we look back, going to be a big deal. At least I think it is. So that's going to do it, though, here for this video today here at Dead Unlocked. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I will always keep you all updated when there's other esports news or updates around. Probably will bring back the night shift recaps like we did for Deadlock Fight Night, at least to some degree. So that should be fun. But until then, thank you all so much for tuning in. From our house to yours, we'll see you all next time here at Dead Unlocked.